So the difference between kind of the standard desire, you know, the problem's not desire, the clinging to the desire, or the clinging to the idea that desire is bad, or that anything is good or bad, that I'm better because, you know, I'm practicing. Anyway, I felt that I have this image always of, you know, if I squelch anything that I'm feeling that feels remotely taboo, whether it be anger or desire, you know, resentment, if I squelch any of that, then it's going to come out. You know, when you squelch, like think of Jell-O, if you squelch it, it just oozes out the side. It's very unattractive. You know? So this is what's going to happen usually if you squelch instead of working with meeting. So noble truth number one, there's suffering. And that's also problematic. Sometimes it's translated as life is suffering, you know. My preference is there is suffering, and specific suffering is, you know, the fact of old age, sickness, and death, that each one of us is headed in one of those directions. You know, if we're not dead, you know, I mean, then, you know, I mean, we're all going to meet that fate. I just came back from a trip with my father who has Parkinson's back in New Hampshire. It was a sudden thing. I was asked to go, and so I spent 2 weeks with him. And it happened a few months before. I got the call from his wife, you know, can you please come? And it's more that, it's not like we're doing hospice or anything. Yeah, he's alive and moving around, which is the problem. Because with the mobility, he wants to get behind the wheel and keep driving. And this is really a problem. So it's weaning him off of that. He's not doing that anymore. He's not there anymore. You know, and so one of the things we did actually, in addition to looking at retirement places for him to move into with his wife, moving out of his own house into a retirement place, we also went to visit his grave. He already has a gravesite. Joan Amaral right there. The year he was born, in a big empty space. So he's dealing with all three of those right now, 2 directly and 1 indirectly that's looming. You know, we don't know how long he's got, but it's in the last 3 months I've seen degeneration already, and so this is it, you know. But I think it's really helpful that we, you know, and some of you in this room are probably already dealing with death directly for yourselves or with people close to you. And I just feel a sense of urgency in practice of, instead of focusing on, I'm not attached, to, you know, can I cultivate affection and a sense of humor? And it will happen. Just, I don't know how it is, but just by sitting here, it does happen. The heart of gratitude and generosity. And when you said give with your heart, and I was kind of thinking, yeah, but also with your wallet. You know, we want both, but it is coming from your heart of, there isn't a separation between your wallet and your heart, what Dana is. But this is what we want to transmit. So when the time comes, we're there for each other, tenderly, affectionately. Katagiri Roshi was wonderful about this. Some of you may have heard the story of the fundraiser, speaking of Dana and money, where, was it Zen Center, Minnesota Zen Center, San Francisco Zen Center, I don't know, was having a fundraiser, and there are all these kind of shishi people all dressed up and drinking champagne and clink clink and eating cake. And Katagiri Roshi got up there and said, everybody in this room, without exception, will be dead. And people were like, like, whoa, bummer. But actually, it's really kind of funny. It's, you know, how it's just absurd or something. And I guess that's the urgent feeling that I want to convey of, can we burn through our taboos? Can we burn through the taboo of desire, or even craving, you know, sex, money, death? Just burn through that and just be with it, kind of relax into it. And there's humor there just waiting for you to land your gaze on it and enjoy. Anyway, so number 2, so this tanha thing, this craving, So, you know, I tend to be kind of look on the bright side of life kind of thing, and well, maybe it's not desire, you know, I can work with craving, you know, it doesn't have to be desire, right? There's still hope for me in the Buddhadharma. But then, I do want to come to this phrase in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, which is the 4 foundations of mindfulness, one of the Buddha's early teachings, and in it he sort of lays out all the basic tenets. Maybe some of you already are aware of this. It's a wonderful teaching, and in it he specifically talks about the 4 Noble Truths, and says, when he gets to the craving part, and again this is how it's translated, but there is something there. And where does this craving arise and establish itself? Wherever in the world there is anything agreeable and pleasurable, there this craving arises and establishes itself. And that's when I go, oh, well, maybe I don't need to read this book. Maybe I might pick up, like, I don't know, Pema Chodron or something warm and fuzzy. But this is important to stay with. Okay, so, you know, it's back to that question of what you guys asked. So, you know, where does that put us? You know, what's the point here? You know, should I just forget it right now? Avoid, am I supposed to avoid all that's pleasurable and agreeable? Like, what's that about? What do you guys think?
No.
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't know what kind of crowd this would be. I was ready for anything. I was ready for all the Catholics to come out, you know, which I'm one.
So much for the cake, huh?
Yeah, exactly. But we know we're going to eat cake regardless. So I did bring 2 books. The Dhammapada, which is an early, it's translated by Gil Fronsdal, an early teaching of the Buddha, kind of traditional, hardcore, you know, take no prisoners. You'll hear in a minute because I'm going to read some of it. And then Stephen Batchelor's Verses from the Center. Are you familiar with these books? Okay. Stephen Batchelor, who I met a few weeks ago and who I saw at Zen Center. He came with his wife, Martine. And they're just wonderful people, and they're so normal. You know, they just show up in regular clothes, and there's something really special about them. I really appreciate them. And he does wonderful work. Oh, I just want to... I feel very embarrassed. I feel like, really? I should just sit here and read to you from Stephen Batchelor. But I have a job to do. I have learning to do. I have to grow, so you're going to have to bear with me. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. Anyway, what? Someone say something? Did someone say go, you go girl?
You go girl.
Thank you.